7 questions to ask yourself. These 7 questions will make you rethink your entire life. Are you living on autopilot? Most of us are. It's like being a passenger in your own car, watching the scenery fly by without ever touching the steering wheel. We wake up, go through the motions, and fall back into bed, only to do it all over again the next day. We're certainly moving, but are we the ones choosing the direction? It's this trance-like state where the days just blur into weeks, and the weeks into years. But what if there was a way to break that spell? These 7 uncomfortable questions are designed to do exactly that. By the end of this, you'll be forced to ask yourself if the life you're living is actually your own. There's this powerful idea, often linked to thinkers like Tony Robbins, that the quality of your life comes down to the quality of the questions you ask. Asking negative questions like, "Why does this always happen to me?" is like telling a search engine to only look for bad news. It will deliver exactly what you asked for, confirming your worst fears. But the right questions, the empowering ones that challenge you to look deeper, can change everything. The questions we're about to explore aren't easy. They're not supposed to be. They're designed to be a pattern interrupt, a jolt to the system that pulls you out of the daily fog and into a life of conscious, intentional living. Think of them as tools for self-discovery. So find a quiet moment, take a deep breath, and let's start the process of taking back the controls. It all starts with being brave enough to ask. The first question: what if you had to relive this past year for the rest of your life? Let's start with a gut check. Just imagine for a second that on January honest, it was announced that for the rest of your time on Earth, you wouldn't get a new year. Instead, you just relive the last 365 days, over and over, on a loop. The same job, same relationships, same habits, the same joys, and the same sorrows, forever. How does that really make you feel? Do you feel a rush of excitement, or is that a sinking feeling in your stomach? This question isn't about getting stuck in the past. Think of it as a taste test for your life. If you had to eat the same meal every day forever, you'd want it to be one you truly loved. This question cuts through all the someday and eventually excuses and forces you to look at the life you're currently living. Are your daily actions, the small moments that make up almost all of your life building, a year you'd actually want to repeat? We tend to live for the highlight, real vacation, the promotion, the weekend. But what about the average Tuesday morning? The commute? The quiet hours before bed? That's the stuff your life is actually made of. If the thought of reliving it fills you with dread, this question shines a bright light on the gap between the life you have and the life you desire. And that gap is where the work begins. The second question: what are you pretending not to know? Alright, this next one requires some uncomfortable honesty. What are you pretending not to know? Deep down, in that quiet place you try not to visit, you already have the answer. You know, a certain friendship is draining you. You know your job is a dead end. You know a specific habit is chipping away at your health. You know there's a conversation you need to have, but you've been putting it off for months, maybe even years. We are masters of lying to ourselves. Pretending not to know something is like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. You can do it for a while, but it takes constant mental and emotional energy, and sooner or later, it's going to pop right back up to the surface. We say, "It's not that bad," or "I'll deal with it later." The point of this question is to drag those hidden truths out into the open. Because once you admit something, you can't ignore it anymore. It's like turning on the lights in a messy room. You can't unsee the clutter. What have you been avoiding? What truth, if you finally admitted it, would force you to change? Answering this is the first step to freedom. It's terrifying, because knowing the truth means you have to do something about it. But it's way scarier to get to the end of your life and realize you spent the whole time pretending. The third question: whose dream are you building? From a young age, we're handed a script for what a good life is supposed to look like. Get good grades, go to a good school, land a stable job, get married, buy a house. These scripts are written by our parents, our teachers, our culture. They offer a clear path, a ladder to climb. But here's the most important question. Is your ladder leaning against the right wall? Whose dream are you actually building? Is the life you're chasing a true reflection of what you value, or is it just a performance for everyone else? Are you chasing a job title to impress people from high school? Are you in a career to make a parent happy? Is your idea of success something you didn't even come up with? There is no deeper emptiness than getting to the top of the ladder, only to find out it was against the wrong building. This is the root of the classic midlife crisis, where people wake up with all the things they were told would make them happy, but they just feel hollow. They won, but they were playing the wrong game the entire time. This question forces you to untangle your own dreams from the expectations of others, like separating individual threads from a complicated knot. You have to patiently pull each one apart until you can clearly see the one that is truly yours. It's about making sure the blueprint you're using to build your life is actually your own. The fourth question: if your life was a story, would you be a compelling protagonist? Imagine your life is a movie. Now, try to watch it as if you're in the audience. Would you root for the main character you? Is the hero of your story active, or are they passive? Do they make brave choices, or do they just let life happen to them? Are they growing and changing, or are they stuck in the same loop, chapter after chapter? Thinking about your life as a story is a powerful way to check if you're truly in the driver's seat. A great main character makes things happen. They don't wait for the next scene to be written for them. They grab the pen and write it themselves. A boring character just reacts to whatever comes their way, always waiting for something or someone else to change their situation. So, are you making choices that move your own story forward? Or have you become a side character in your own life? Are you living a story of courage and adventure, or one of comfort and predictability? You are both the writer and the star of this movie. Every single day, every choice you make is you writing the next page. This isn't about creating drama just for fun. It's about living with intention. It's about making sure that when the credits finally roll, your story is one you'd be proud to have written, and more importantly, proud to have lived. The fifth question: what is a truth you would die for? This question goes beyond your goals and into the heart of your identity. It's not asking what you'd risk your life for. Like a family member, most of us would do that. It's asking about a principle, a value so deep in your bones that life without it would feel meaningless. This is your non-negotiable. Is it freedom, justice, honesty, integrity? What is the one value that, if you were forced to betray it, would feel like you were betraying your own soul? In a world that is constantly telling us to be flexible and compromise, this question reveals your anchor. An anchor keeps a ship steady in a storm, preventing it from being smashed on the rocks or dragged out to sea. When the winds of pressure and convenience start to blow, this principle holds you firm to who you are. Knowing this makes decisions so much simpler. This is what separates a life of conviction from a life of convenience. Your job, your house, your status, that can all go away. But a core principle that you stand for, above all else, is something nobody can ever take from you. It's the foundation of your character. It's the ultimate why behind everything you do. Finding it, and then living by it, is the key to living a powerful life. The sixth question: if you achieved all your goals tomorrow, who would you be? Imagine I wave a magic wand, and boom, overnight, you have it all. The dream job, the perfect health, the financial freedom, the amazing partner, the recognition, everything. You've won the game. Now what? After the champagne runs out and the celebration ends, who are you? What do you do with your time on a Tuesday morning? This question shines a light on a dangerous trap. We wrap our entire identity in the pursuit of our goals. It's like a mountain climber who loves the act of climbing so much, they forget to enjoy the view from the top. Their identity is the climb, not the summit. When there are no more mountains left, they feel lost. We are the aspiring artist, or the hustler, and the struggle becomes so tied to our sense of self that we have no idea who we are without it. This is a huge problem. It sets you up for an identity crisis if you succeed and makes you terrified of failure. This question forces you to build an identity that's separate from your achievements. Think of your sense of self as a house, and your goals as the furniture inside. A house is still a house, even when it's empty. You need a strong structure that won't collapse if the furniture is rearranged. If you can build that, you can chase your goals from a place of joy, not desperation. The seventh question: what are you willing to let die so that you can truly live? Our final question is probably the deepest. Growth isn't just about adding new things to your life. It's also about subtraction. It's like a snake shedding its skin. To grow, it has to leave the old, tight, and constricting layer behind. To become the person you're meant to be, you have to be willing to let go of the person you've been. This death isn't literal, of course. It's the death of a limiting belief you've been carrying for years. It's the death of a toxic relationship that's been holding you back. It's the death of a comfortable but unfulfilling version of yourself that you cling to because it's familiar. It's letting go of the need for everyone's approval. You can't rise from the ashes if you're not willing to let things burn. Rebirth requires a kind of death. This is the hardest part of growth, because it means choosing the scary, unknown future over the familiar, comfortable past. What part of your life, your identity, or your mindset needs to be buried so that you can step into a bigger, more authentic version of yourself? Answering this takes incredible courage. It's the final step in shedding that autopilot skin and consciously creating a life that is truly, vibrantly alive. Let's quickly run through the 7 questions we covered today. 1. What if you had to relive this past year for the rest of your life? 2. What are you pretending not to know? 3. Whose dream are you building? 4. If your life was a story, would you be a compelling protagonist? 5. What is a truth you would die for? 6. If you achieved all your goals tomorrow, who would you be? 7. And what are you willing to let die so that you can truly live? These questions aren't one and done. Think of them as lifelong companions for checking in with yourself. The goal isn't to find the perfect answers, but to have the courage to keep asking. Living an intentional life isn't some destination you arrive at. It's a practice. It's the end.